Hello and welcome to another edition of the Fatu Network News Review program. We have to squeeze in here so that you know what I mean. Like we don't want a situation like what happened yesterday. So hopefully we would be able to bring you this show without any interruptions today. We will take a look at the newspapers, and then after that we will talk about all these issues you all know today. The stand-up for the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, and we understand it was not only at the office in Banjul but all their offices, the one on the Battle Harding Highway and also the one around the turntable. We understand we're all closed. We will talk about that later, and I have someone in the studios who was right there when it happened. He will talk to us about that. We understand that the standoff happened at 4:30 in the morning, so we will get to that one later. So right now, we're going to take a look at the newspapers, and of course the Standard newspaper is reporting that the Faraba Commission ends probe into the bloody riots that happened in Faraba a few months ago that resulted to the death of about 3 young people. As we understand that the report would be submitted to the Office of the President on Friday, and there are also questions as to why the current Minister of Interior, who was the governor at that time, was not interviewed by the panel. But what they're saying is that they feel there was no need for it because the IGP and other people were all before the commission. So they feel there was no point, and that it would not add any value if Mbalo, who is now the Interior Minister and was the governor at that time, was interviewed. And restoration of democracy remains paramount. That's the Vice President of the Gambia lawyer Usainu Dabo saying that yesterday that the government still attached special emphasis on the restoration of democracy and human rights. Dabo was the one who was saying that yesterday at the UNFPA Change Management Workshop that was designed to introduce a systematic approach to dealing with the transformation of the organization's goals. And also on the Standard newspaper, Norwegian prisoners' amnesty is revoked. And this came amid a lot of outcry from the people who were saying that why would a pedophile be pardoned? And that actually brought in a lot of talk on social media. And we understand yesterday that the Ministry of the Department of Immigration actually detained the guy since Sandakar. Since he was pardoned by the president, he was detained. And yesterday, we understand yesterday evening, he was moved to Mile 2 prisons where he is right now. So the information that is out is that his pardon was revoked yesterday. Pardoning of Norwegian pedophile reversed. That's also on the Voice newspaper. They're also reporting that. And Barry blames traditional leaders of hanging political banners at home. Barry is the vice chairperson of the, is it the Janjambure Area Council? Let me just confirm that. He's the, yes, of the Janjambure Area Council. He has blamed the traditional leaders for hanging political banners at their homes. He's saying you are not constitutionally mandated to do that. You're not supposed to be supporting one side or one political party. So he wants them to take off all the hangings that they have there at their homes. That traditional leaders should not be supporting politicians. 2018 Beijing FOCAC Summit, that's also coming up and is set for September. The Voice newspaper is reporting that. And of course, where Dabo was speaking about democracy and the transformation, UNFPA enhances its manager's capacity to manage change process. The Voice newspaper is also reporting on that. And Foroya newspaper, of course, says farmers are worried about another failed cropping season. Remember, I posted that on Facebook the last time. I was like, why is it not raining? It's actually been raining yesterday and today, but not, did it actually rain today? I know it's still dark outside, meaning it could rain, but yesterday we had some rain, and the Foroya is reporting that the farmers are worried about this. It's not only the farmers, but everyone is worried because normally in August, this time around, it should be raining at least daily, but now we do not see that rain coming. And now Unfpa begins change management workshop. That's the one that we read to you, that the Standard newspaper carried, where Dabo was talking about democratization. And councillors embark on solidarity tour in storm battered ward. That's also on the Fourier newspaper, and it has the house of a battered house in Jalokunda, a picture that is on the front of the paper. And of course, private vehicle burns to ashes. That was yesterday at Westfield. We brought in pictures of that as well as videos of what was happening there. The good thing is there was nobody was hurt at that situation. Controversy surrounding the pardoning of prisoners, that I guess is solved now that Sandaka is back to Mile 2 prisons. And 19 candidates score aggregate 6. That's also on the paper, and that's all Fourier newspaper. And it says, could there be a committee on prerogative of mercy without parliamentary approval? They're asking, how did that happen without the parliament approving that one? And of course, the Point newspaper is also reporting the same thing, that the government reverses Norwegian pedophile's pardon. That is Sandaka, the Norwegian. I'm sure everybody knows him by now in Gambia. And you know, the interesting thing is, most people would tell you, social media, don't mind them. You know, it's only a few people. So if you keep thinking social media is only for a few people, then maybe you don't know. Because definitely all over the world, social media is taking over now, and that is what we're seeing. So whatever is on social media goes like wildfire. It spreads like that. And man arrested for killing girlfriend's brother. I was trying to think, okay, your girlfriend's brother. Why would anybody kill your girlfriend's brother? But let's see, it's saying that it happened in Basse. They arrested one Suleiman Kamara, a native of Numuyal village in the Jimara district, Upper River region. The suspect is currently on detention at the Basse police station as investigations into the matter continues. We know that the tragedy, according to the Point newspaper, occurred at the village of Numuyal after the young man already hit the girlfriend's brother with a cement brick on his head, leading to his death on the spot. A source who spoke to the Point newspaper says that the suspect was residing in Mauritania. He manages to escape arrest after committing a murder in Jimara and decided to leave the country for Mauritania. And it is the same person. Very unfortunate right there. Last witness testifies at the Farabak Commission. We know that now the Commission have done their findings. They're done. And we understand that they should be presenting their report to the, they should be presenting their report to the office of the president on Friday. That is what the newspaper is reporting. And we also have on here that incredible onlookers, they said, this, derive joy from victims' loss. That is what we want to talk about today. We actually have a video of that. Now that is becoming a concern. If you look at what happened in France, when the Spider-Man was going up trying to rescue a baby, there were a lot of people, onlookers, who were just there using their cameras trying to take videos. It's unfortunate, but that's what the world has turned to now. A situation happens, instead of people helping, rushing to the scene to help, like it was before, they would be taking their cameras out, trying to record something on Facebook or go on Facebook Live, or trying to put something on Snapchat or Instagram. We have that, but later on, we will bring you that video so you can see what the people have to say about that situation. But I think right now we're going to start with a video of an interview that we did here today, and that is about the $752,000 that was put into the account of the First Lady. We want to know First Lady's foundation, the Fatoumata Bah Barrow Foundation. We want to know what the people think about this. So we are going to play that video and we'll be right back. Stay tuned in.
$33 million which have been put into the First Lady's foundation. I think it is a wrong perception when they say that they don't know how it came there. That is the issue. I have a big issue with that, like saying that you don't know. So, in my own opinion, I think they should know, because it's their own account, and this account is not a small account. It's something that have to do with the Gambia itself. Whatever money have been put there would be, you know, reinvested or put into the issues of Gambian people. So for that huge amount to be put into an account which is let's say, a national account to be addressing national issues, how comes they don't know?
Well, evidence, they say, is always the final part of every argument. And I believe the Gambian people trust this administration, trust His Excellency, trust the entire system, and gave them this mandate to lead the country. And coming to this issue, in my little knowledge of bank transaction, I think when money enters into an account, the owner of the account is always aware. This is my view, looking at my little knowledge of the banking sector. And if they also say they are not aware, well, they should, I think the authority, the police and whoever responsible should be allowed to conduct their investigation, which I perceive they've a kind of giving consent to conduct investigation, know how the money came, who withdrew the money from the account, who used the money, what the money was used for, and then be able to come up and tell the Gambian people who gave them the mandate that this was where the money came from, this was why it came, this was the person or the institution that sent the money or transferred it to the account, and this was why we used the money and what the money was used for.
Assalamu alaikum mbokki Gambia ñun la waa Ladies Fantas Bakery.
Okay, so that was a vox pop that we did earlier today about the Fatoumata Barbaro Foundation and the $752,000 that was paid into their account by Tibia. We also have someone who asked the question, why did they remove the money? If they don't know why the money was put in there, why was it removed in a rush on the same day? And another person said that since that this was put in on the 18th of December in 2017, why were they quiet about it? Because they must have known about it. The board knows about it. Why did they not talk about it until when the people start talking about it? We will continue to investigate this issue, and whatever we have, we'll be bringing it to you. But also, like we said, we understand that they're also doing their own independent investigations. I spoke to someone at the police today to ask if they have opened an inquiry, if they're trying to investigate this, but the person was like, who is going to investigate the issue? Meaning it is not being investigated by the police as at now. Right now, we're going to bring you another vox pop that we did today. Like I talked about, onlookers now, it's all over the world. When something happened, instead of people rushing to the scene to help, they will use their cell phones trying to capture the moments. Let's see what the people have to say about that.
No loss of contact. The cost of bundle from the 3G SIM card is the same for the 4G SIM. And guess what? With the 4G SIM card, you can also connect to the 3G network as well.
This is so cool. I'll replace my 3G SIM card right away to the real 4G SIM and receive my very own 1 gigabyte for free.
From AfriCell, it's always real and it's for free.
Where AfriCell goes, no one has the speed to follow.
Normally, during when accident occur in the Gambia, people just stand there and video and take pictures instead of helping the victims in the accident. Is that the right thing to do? Do you think that's the right thing?
I actually think that is not the right thing to do, because when accidents happens, the most important thing that anyone should think of doing is how to save the lives of the victims. In other words, making sure that the victims are safe, rushing them to the hospitals and other things. Taking the video, perhaps to be the first person to break the news and all of those things, is not what is important. The lives of those people that are in the accident is more important, and I think Gambians should try to make sure that some of those things are put into consideration, because those are some of the best practices anyone can do anytime an accident occurs.
Life, when it's matter of life, then, you know, you have to do something quickly before it's too late. Than, you know, taking film, posting it out. Maybe it's too late when you're saving the life. Yeah. You have to just take action one time and save the person when it's necessary.
I think people should endeavor to save lives instead of filming, and filming is also important as form of evidences, but like we need to help. You know, the purpose is to save another person's life. But the issue of filming, I think the public should not be discouraged of filming incidents, especially when it has to do with the police brutality and other issues going on in this country, especially for now. I mean, the situation in Gambia now is such terrible that it's only social media through filming that can actually stop some of these incidents from happening. But like, we should not be deceived, or we should not be distracted from helping other people to save their lives or rescue them when they need our help.
Life is something that is very, very important. And then before you take something and then to post it on social media, it's better you help the person that is in need. You see somebody is dying in an accident or something, like it's a matter of losing his or her life, and then you are there to film instead of helping. I think we need to go back and then revisit our humanitarian instinct to help people, because like as a human being, you should help your fellow human being when he or she is in need.
TAF Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate. At Dalaba Housing Estate, you get to enjoy bituminized roads, gated and fenced properties, solar street lights, water reticulation, public amenities, 1,500 fruit trees aligned in streets, and many more. Make a 40% down payment today and spread the balance conveniently for 10 years with GTBank, EcoBank and Trust Bank. Terms and conditions apply. Wait, this is the best part. We are giving a discount on outright payments. For more information and exceptional service, please call our office line on +220 4410 Better still, call us on mobile or via WhatsApp on +220 376 2333 or +220 776 2333. You can also visit our website on www.tafafricahomes.com. TAF Africa Global. Our experience is global. Our focus is Africa.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news review program right here on the Fatu Network. And we have one more report to share with you, and that is the Youth Parliament. They are planning on coming up with a trade fair for young people. And we will show you that interview right now. And when we are done, we will talk about the social security issue that happened today since 4:30 in the morning. We understand that they have all left now, and they promise to end the standoff, but we will talk about that later, right after this report.
Which is taking place from the 19th to the 28th of October at the Independence Stadium. This activity is bringing over 200 young Gambians, entrepreneurs, with 70% targeting rural youths. The application forms will be out on the 1st of September and will be on this Fatu Network platform, and people can access it. Likewise at the GYCC page. So the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce, in collaboration, in support with the Youth Empowerment Project, the NEMA Project and FASDEP, will be staging this activity at the Independence Stadium. And during this event, we'll be having a roundtable discussion between the entrepreneurs and the officials of the government. We expect the president to grace. We'll be having another Youth in Agribusiness Forum, where we talk about young people issues and agribusiness, and how do we ensure that agriculture becomes sexy and attractive to the young people. The other events will include musical performances and some theater and video players that will also be showcased during this event. So it's going to be an event of a very interesting moment for Gambia. This is the first time that this is happening, and we call in all partners and everybody to come on board and support this event. Thank you.
That is the Gambia Youth Chamber of Commerce. They're coming up with an event, and like they said, they would want everyone to come on board and support them. So today, now we will talk about the issue at the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation. I have Keme Seng here, Keme Seng Sane. He's a citizen journalist and also an activist. He actually was there today the whole morning. It actually started at 4:30, but I know he got there sometime after that. We will talk to him about everything that happened and what he saw there, and then we will see. Actually, the FATU network was there, but the Social Security staff said they would not let us cover them. And they have their reasons. Kemeseng would tell you all about it. We sent 2 reporters there, and they said no to us. Kemeseng, welcome to the program. So today it was a busy day at outside Social Security because they locked all the doors and said nobody was going to come in. What did you see? What happened?
Actually, I received a call around 5 a.m. in the morning. One of their staff called me that they are going in for a strike whereby they will close the doors of Social Security, demanding for the recommendation that they sent to the executive, that's the Office of the President, in regards to the Social Security saga that has been taking place. So actually, I wake up in the morning, then I rose there. That was around 7 o'clock. I arrived to 7:30. I arrived at the scene. Upon arrival, I found out that actually the whole Social Security main entrance are locked with chains and padlock, a big padlock for that matter, and you have the staffs all within the premises of the Social Security actually waiting. Then we all start there and waited whether we will see the management of Social Security, but we didn't see any of them, like the managing director. But we saw the human resources manager and some of their executive, but manager himself was nowhere to be found actually. So we were there until the PS Minister of Finance came, that's Mr. Kamara, and he was trying to talk to the staff so that they can understand, they go back to work and they will see how best they can settle the matter peacefully. But actually the staff demand was definitely they are not going inside unless their demand is respected, because this is not...
and what was it that they wanted? They want Kamara back?
No, actually, they want Kamara to be back, because they said that through what the letter that was given to Kamara, it was indicated on the letter that Kamara is suspended for 3 months. But they find out that Kamara name, because they have a system whereby when staff report to the Social Security, you have a electronic
they log in and log out.
Log in and log out. But when Kamara came the last time there, he logged in and his name was no more in the system. That automatically tells you that he's not actually suspended, but he is sacked. Because if he is suspended, waiting for the investigation, they would not have removed his system, his name in the system. But while removing his name from the system, that automatically tell you that they are not giving the clear picture. So that was
also, but then why do they think the board would lie about this? I mean, if the board wanted to fire him, I mean, if you write a letter to tell someone they're suspended, if you want to fire them, you could have just said that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they think the board will be lying to them. I think that's
what is confusing them. So they are saying that actually they are not telling them the true picture of what is their intention. Maybe they are trying to just use this as a suspension, but at the end of the day, he will never report to the work. And Kamara is not a person who is talking only on his behalf, but he's the representative of the whole staff association. Whatever Kamara says, it's not that it's his own word, but he's representing the staff within the board, because they have a committee that is in the that they have the staff representative in the board that speak on behalf of the whole staff. So whatever Kamara is doing is not doing on behalf of either himself, but he's doing it on behalf of the whole staff. So they should understand that. So actually sending somebody who is democratic elected by them shows that definitely they are sending the whole Social Security staffs association outside. So they will stand in solidarity with Kamara for Kamara to be reinstated back, because Kamara is not the person who is accused here, but it's Mr. Manjang who is accused. So they feel that Manjang should be investigated instead of somebody
also
who
they feel it was Manjang who should have been suspended, not Kamara.
Not Kamara.
So is Kamara is the only one suspended right now, right?
Yeah, actually that's what they are demanding. I don't know whether, but that's what they are saying.
So now what happened? Because we understand that the CDS was there, that's the Chief of Defense Staff of the Gambia Armed Forces. Like, he is a big person. Like, what was he doing there? We understand the IGP was there, and we understand the CIS director, somebody who nobody sees anywhere. All of a sudden, they all showed up as Social Security. Why?
Actually, they all came. We were there. Then somebody came from the office of the president, said that actually they have communicate, and the IGP is coming, and that of the CDS, they wanna come and see how best they can settle this matter amicably, and they talk to the staff. So upon the man tried to convince those people to open the door so that they can go inside the social security building, but they were claiming that let them go to maybe either the CDS office or the IG's office, but they're not gonna open the social security. But upon that, they were
so they refused for the CDS and the IG to
no,
get
actually,
in?
no, the man who came before the CDS does, the man from the office of the president.
They refused for that person to
they
get
said
in.
he have to wait, they cannot go inside then until CDS arrived. Then when CDS arrived and he spoke to them as brothers and sisters, he said he's not here, has his capacity, has the CDS, but he's...
But I mean, why are they doing all of this? Like you said, the Ministry of Finance were there. Social Security is under the Ministry of Finance, right? Yeah. The Ministry of Finance was there, right? Yeah. But then still the CDS and the SIS and the IGP, everybody has to go there and to tell them, you know, we're your brothers, so we want you to talk to us. So what happened after that?
Okay, when Mr. Kamara came there, actually, they want an assurance from Mr. Kamara, claiming that when this whole saga started, you know, we could remember when the president was addressing the nation. That's a monthly press conference.
Oh, Kamara was there?
Yeah, Kamara came.
He came?
No, that's this Lamin Kamara. That's the PS of the Ministry of Finance.
Oh, the PS, yeah, Kamara.
Yeah. So he came. When he came, so actually he was trying for those people to go back. But they are telling him, let him give them assurance that the staff representative will be resume work either today or tomorrow. But Kamara said that definitely he cannot give them the assurance, but definitely he will communicate the message that he gathered from them to the office of the president. So they need assurance. So that for that being the case, he cannot give them assurance. Then they too cannot actually grant what he wants. So they say let Kamara just go because they are demand. This is not a matter of today or tomorrow. This started, and the president has given an assurance that they will set a commission of inquiry that will look into the matter. The last press conference he had, the 2 days after the press conference, when president made that pronunciation, the 2 days they suspended Mr. Kamara, their state representative. So that shows you that what was said at the press conference and what was actually taking place are two different things. So they don't have any now confidence in any of the authorities. So they think that definitely what they are doing is the right thing.
So what difference did the presence of IGP and after they left, what happened after they went there?
Yeah, they have a closed door meeting whereby the journalists actually didn't allow to go in. When the CDS and the IG appealed to them, let them just go in. Then we were able to open one office, few staff go in as the executive of the staff, and they went in. They have a family discussion. Then after their discussion, they came in, and what was communicated to us through the IGP, because the CDS didn't, but the IGP told us that actually they come to term and there will be a task force that will be established to look into the whole matter, and they have given the assurance of the staff that Mr. Kamara, as their staff representative, will resume to work, and they will look into the matter by the task force.
Also, Kamara would resume?
Will resume, and they will look into the whole matter. Then any recommendation that comes in, whether Mr. Manja will leave or whether Mr. Kamara will, that's left to the task force that will do the investigation on the whole matter.
Okay, so it looks like the presence of the security chiefs was to assure them that, don't worry, Mr. Kamara will be back at work, but just go home, and then so they did not open the door. So it's like today, no work.
No, they opened and they were all into their office. They all started, you know.
And what time was that? That was
around 1:30 to 2 o'clock.
So the whole day they did not work until 1:30 because they were pissed that somebody is removed, somebody is suspended. But I understand somebody is telling me right here that if you're suspended, most of the time you're removed out of the system until you come back. So what is their beef with Fatu Network? Because we sent 2 reporters there and they said they don't want to see us anywhere near them.
Actually, what they were saying that when the whole saga started, Fatu Network was the one covering the whole issue. But when Fatu Network came there, they interviewed the management side, that Mr. Manjang, and they bring the whole interview that they had with Mr. Manjang. But when they have an interview with the staff rep, they edited the version of the staff rep that is not sending the clear picture of what actually is transpiring in social security. And they are claiming that Fatu Network is in line with Mr. Manjang because they believe that definitely he is biased in a way. So for that being the case, they don't want Fatu Network to cover anything that has to do with their strike and anything. So, well,
I think they got it wrong because when we know about this, I actually don't know Mr. Manjang. I've never even seen Mr. Manjang. We called the Social Security trying to, I just have to explain this so that they know in case they're listening. I had to call, find his number from, you know, how when we want to interview people, find their numbers. And then I sent a text to say, hello, this is Fatu from Fatu Network. We want to interview Mr. Manjang about this situation. And he said, okay, then it is fine. I said, do you want a paper interview or video interview? And he said, video will be fine. So we went there, but I wasn't even the one who interviewed him, because these are the kind of situations why I like to take a back seat. So I sent a team there and say, when you go to interview Mr. Manjang, interview him, but make sure you interview his staff as well, because we don't want one side of the story. So we interviewed Mr. Manjang, and I happened to call somebody from the staff and say, can you give us a number of somebody who will represent all of you? So that person spoke. When it comes to, everybody loved that editing. That was Mr. Kamara's first interview. And he actually even told us, he congratulated the Fatu Network and said this is a very good thing. If this was before, something like this would never happen. So when we interview you, we can assure anybody that the full interview will come, because this is actually internet. This is not television. Television, you can have 5 hours of recording. On internet, people cannot sit and watch all of that. So we have a discretion to that, what part we're going to bring. Every interview is cut. Even President Barrow's interview, when we had it here, there are some parts we have to see what will come and what we need to edit out. But definitely, I think they're getting it wrong, because few days after we interviewed both them and Mr. Manjang, I think it was actually the same day, they called me and said they want another interview. And I said, no, we cannot do that, because then it will be only one side. That was why when we were coming to interview you, we asked that you get somebody who will speak on behalf of the entire staff. So now that you didn't do that, if we come back to you and you say something again, how about Mr. Manjang? How is he going to defend himself? So we said no. And then they sent us something to say, oh, Mr. Manjang is this, is that. I said, we don't publish this. And even we will not do that for nobody. Even if the president wants one side, we will say no. Because with the profession, we understand that both sides have to be heard. And then the people will be the judge. Well, it's very unfortunate, but I think what they want, we also cannot do. Because if you have your fight, why do you want a certain media group to take your side? We're not here to take sides.
That's as you are saying, the ethic journalists, there are ethics that govern the journalists. You don't just go and do things. And that's why when I heard from them, I interviewed both the staff representative and so many people. I try to communicate, even Mr. Manjang. I call him today in the morning. And when he got his phone, I told him, this is Kemes and Sana. I just want to hear your side of the story in regards to the social security saga. But he said, definitely right now, he cannot talk to the media right now. So let me just give him time, which I respected. I said, that's not a problem, but anytime you are available, that's my number.
We even contacted him, and he said the same thing. He said, right now I cannot talk. I called the board chairperson and interviewed him the last time about Kamara's suspension. Even yesterday, I sent someone to get me Kamara's number so we can interview him. I called the board chairperson, and he said, no, right now we want to discuss this at internal level for now. I called Mr. Manjang. Mr. Manjang said, oh no, the board said they want this at internal level. So what the staff want is for them to give them a carte blanche where they will be on air every time. We cannot do that, because that would be a one-sided story. So they did not let our reporters do anything today.
Actually, they say definitely they don't want Fatu Network. But actually, we cover, and so far, what we get there now, the matter is now before the commission, and we are so that within a week, definitely they will come with their recommendation, and the staff to respect the decision of whatever will come out of it, because they assure us that whatever decision will come, let it not be favorism or in terms of friendship or nepotism or tribalism, but let it be the actual fact that is in social security, because they all want the transformation of social security.
So was this the entire staff? Because I saw something on Facebook that it was 300 and something staff at Social Security. 330 some.
I checked. I asked. That's why I tried to interview the human resources manager, Mr. Foon, to hear from him, so that because he knows how many staff at Social Security, but he too never grant me an interview. He said he cannot talk to me right now, which I respected. Then I went through the staffs. That's the other side of the staff. When I asked, they have 341 staff at Social Security, and I go through the petition that was signed. I found out that 271 people have signed the petition against 341, which shows you that 79% are in for Manjang to go, whilst 21% want Manjang to stay.
Also 21% want Manjang to stay, and 79 want him out. Someone just said right on here that Social Security grounds are public owned. How is it that they have the right to determine who covers what, when, and where? I guess that they have a right to say who to choose who they want to talk to. But I think they getting this wrong. I
Yeah.
just want to say that the Fatu Network is here to cover everyone, but we just want to have both sides at the same all the time. But we definitely are not favoring you or favoring Manjang. That is not our place. We cannot do that. All we can do is to take both sides and bring it to the public, and the public will be the judge. That is what is expected of us. And I heard today they were like, Panderi is the best journalist. Well, Panderi, he does a great job. He is a brother, and we're in the profession together. But the moment you try to do that kind of thing, Panderi is good or Fatu Network is bad. Panderi wouldn't like that. He wouldn't be happy with that. So they said that, right?
We are all the same family, so the journalists are all the same family. Maybe actually Panderi to what he got is what he is reporting. But if you allow maybe Fatu Network to, maybe you will have both sides of the story. So what I will say to them, let them just open themselves to all the media. Let us see us as we are partners in development. Let us not see us as a threat or an enemy to them, but let us see us that we are all partners in a way to save the future of this country. And if you do that, definitely we will have a better Gambia. But I will encourage the authorities to let them open a dialogue when such incidents happen. If you remember, this is a 6-month saga. If it hadn't been that, there was a dialogue, maybe we will not reach to this stage. But you don't wait until things get out of hand.
But I mean, what I still don't understand, like the board of directors, they said that they are going to suspend. They actually suspended Kamara. And then you have the IGP, the CDS, the SIS going into Social Security, telling them that, do not worry, Kamara is going to come back to work tomorrow. I mean, I just don't get that. This is the reason why they said, I mean, this is about principle. If a whole board decide this is what they want, I have nothing against Kamara. My mom works at Social Security since I was a kid. When they were at Gumster House, that's the time that I was going there. My mom worked there until she retired at 60. My uncle works there until he left. Like all my family were at Social Security. They know that. But then, I mean, I don't understand why a board would say something and then the security chiefs just change that like that.
Actually, their problem is the letter that is sent to Mr. Kamara, who is suspended. They said they don't know who even wrote the letter. The letter, it has a letterhead of Social Security, but the person who wrote it said, I am directed. That's what, and they asked him, who directed you?
The board.
So he could not say that either is the board or is Manjang himself or anybody. So they want to know who actually directed the person. They still want to know the authenticity of the sacking letter, who even actually suspended Mr. Kamara, because they said on the letterhead, immediately after the letterhead, you just see on the letter that I am directed to suspend Mr. Kamara for 3 months, waiting for the investigation, when actually they feel like that they should know who actually suspended Mr. Kamara.
Well, someone said it's a security issue. That's why the CDS and everyone else was there. We understand that. But I was just saying, before they go ahead and say he's coming back to work tomorrow, they could have said, okay, let's get the board chairperson. This way, to be fair to everyone, to say, let's get the board chairperson and then discuss it with the board and get the board to be there. Were they represented at the meeting? Do you know?
No,
you didn't see them?
No, I didn't see
Okay,
them.
someone is saying the network is here for the story and the clarity of it. It owes the people not to advocate for either sides. Exactly. We are not here to support Manjang or support the other side. Like I said, the only time I saw Manjang was at his office and at a funeral yesterday. There's somebody online. Hello?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
It's Tukulor.
Hey, Tukulor, how are you?
Oh, I am just pissed. I woke up, but anyways, this whole Social Security saga, Fatu, I have never, ever seen an institution be so disorganized. And again, people say we're hard on Barrow, but this also shows that Barrow cannot govern. How can you have a big institution, a sensitive institution like Social Security, where they were accused of embezzling, retiree funds, and now he brings Manjang, who is believed to be this guy who is trying to change the place, and then everybody is fighting Manjang, and Barrow is sitting there and watching that happen? This is his appointee, okay? So then you have an institution where there's this guy, Keba Ture, who fights with all of us on social media. One day, and I nailed him. We're like, okay, so you're fighting with us, but you're also doing this on Social Security time, government time. So that's when he blocked me or ran away. But this is just ridiculous. If the guy was suspended, I haven't heard of anywhere where you were suspended and you decided to come and challenge that, your board of directors and you're not fired. This guy should be fired.
Well, how about the fact that now the CDS and the SIS director went in there and they override the decision of the board?
That's my point. That goes to show you. And what the hell do they even have to do with this? It's none of their business. Their job is really to go and control the crowds, to make sure that people don't hurt each other. That is their job. So again, this shows you how corrupt people are in the Gambia. At the core of all of this, there are people, Fatu, that I believe are out there to make sure that corruption continues. They do not want to curb corruption. And because of that, they'll do anything. And having said that, I know that I'm going back, but I have to go back. Fatu Barrow Foundation is a hustler foundation.
Is a what?
That is a hustler foundation.
Hustler foundation.
Okay? If she is really sincere, this woman needed to wait until her husband left the presidency. Then she can show how much she loved Gambia by setting up a foundation and doing whatever she can. If you remember, Adama Barrow, when he was during the impasse, he promised the April 10, 11 kids that he will take them to treatment. Yusuf Mbai called me. He was excited, Fatu. I told him, I said, you know, Yusufa, during the struggle, we told you, Fatu, we were on the radio telling people, when this new government comes, they'll take care of the April 10, 11 kids. Yusuf Mbai came and told me that. I was all happy for him. He went to meet, and he met with Vice President Tambada. She said the same thing. The president has promised to take you guys. Then the Turkish, embassy told the April 10, 11 kids to apply for funding. Fatoumata Barrow's foundation got wind of it. Guess what they did, Fatu? They went and applied for the same funding and got it. And we all thought, well, okay, it's okay. They got it. They'll take these kids. They didn't. She chose people that she wanted. She didn't take the April 10, 11 kids for treatment. She didn't take the Kalamar Revolution women for treatment. This is hypocrisy at its core. We don't even know who she chose to take to Turkey for treatment. In the meantime, the April 10, 11 kids are still sitting there. Fatu Kamara, Adama Barrow cannot govern. And since he doesn't know how to be a president...
But Tukulor, wait. You were Adama Barrow's #1 fan. I could remember
I divorced him long time ago.
You were even called Mrs. Barrow.
I divorced him long time ago. When a husband is bad, you throw him away. I have thrown him. Adama has really disappointed all of us, Fatu. How many times did you and I remember during the impasse, when you not even the impasse, during the convention, after the convention, all of us were like, oh, let's mold this guy, let's make sure he gets new clothes and all that. That guy is all of a sudden, within 18 months, this guy has become this monster that nobody knows where he came from. And Adama needs to realize, all the time he's spending garwaling people on, saying things about the diaspora and garwaling people. He needs to govern. He is not fit to govern. He needs to hand over to his vice president, and let's see what Uncle Usain Dabo can do too. Gone are the days that we're going to sit here and watch somebody be a president. Gambia is very fragile right now, Fatu. Gambia is a very fragile country. We are getting all these monies coming in, and we don't see anything being done. Adama needs to go. He cannot govern, and I don't care what anybody says to me. They can insult me. Fatu, is that new to me? No.
Well, thank you very much, Tukulor, for your time. We appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And someone said here, so Fatu, will the CDS, the IGP, and co maintain the same precedent of meeting activists if activists in the future ever take to the street demanding their rights to be met and spoken to in human ways like they have done at the Social Security today, then deploy men with guns shooting and beating people? He's trying to ask that question. I think what they did today, we're asking if something like that happened, would there definitely be there, the CDS and the SIS and the rest? There's something that I want to talk to you, Kex, about, because you were there today, and somebody is trying to say, call me on Skype. Can you please call? Because where I am, I'm far away from it, and I don't think the technicians know your Skype ID, but please call us in Fatu Radio Live. But Kex, there's a lot of talk about the Secretary General being in the middle of all of this. Yeah. I'm sure you must have had that, that Habib Drame is, let Kex answer that, and then we'll go back to the phone.
Actually, I don't know, and I want to at least look into the matter why, but his name is everywhere, that he is social media board, even on the ground, people are saying that he's the one who is behind this thing. They are undermining Barrow's government. I don't know where that is coming from, actually, but his name is not actually, his true color, the good name of him in regards to all this saga is not what we are hearing, but we are hearing that bad name of Mr. Drame. I don't know why and why people are doing this, and one has to investigate and know. Maybe they they know something that we don't know.
But did they say what he did? Because someone's saying he was, when he was managing director of the bus company, and that there was some money that was, you know, some financial transactions were made, and now it is coming out that he was taking money, something like that. Did you hear exactly? Because we tried to reach Habib, but he didn't talk to nobody.
No, actually, I didn't hear of Habib, but the Ministry of Finance, actually, that's what I'm hearing there. People are not saying good thing. They said they are directly involved in this social security saga because they said their secretary to Mr. Manjang was a person who was working with the former Minister of Finance, that's Amadou Sane,
yes,
who was brought in to that institution. When you have qualified people that are in the institution.
So they don't like that.
They don't like. So why would they bring that? What they said, association has been turned into a family business instead of actually an institution that they knew of social security, which need to be investigated, whether that is the actual fact. But this is the words in the street, this is the words with the social security staff.
That Habib is not, his name keeps coming up.
His came, and the Ministry of Finance too, they are not that much.
Which one of the finance, Amadou Sane or
I don't know, Amadou Sane, the Minister of...
so they're saying Amadou is backing who?
Manjang, you know.
And Habib is backing who?
No, actually, they said Habib is the... People are saying that Habib is the one who is even undermining maybe Barrow, because he's the Secretary General. He is in town of all this institution and the other thing, but he's not even actually advising the President as he should advise him. He have an interest in this social security saga, which I cannot just verify until maybe one investigate.
Yes, we'll try to find it, have an interview with him. We have someone on the line before we close this show. Hello?
Hello, how are you? Fatu?
Yes.
Manjang, how are you?
Manjang Saudi.
Yes, exactly. No relationship with the Manjang and social security.
I was going to ask before you start taking sides.
yeah, exactly. Because if they can block Fatu network, whatever have you. So anyway, Fatu, keep up the good work we are doing. You know, the struggle continues. As I said, you know, you fought like tooth and nail to be where you are today. So in this new dispensation, if people are blocking you, we know that they have the problem, not you, because you've been very professional all your life. What I just want to say is that what is happening at Social Security is a test case for the entire country. If we let these rebels win, we are doomed forever, because if anybody follow Jane's commission, we know exactly what was going on in Social Security. You know, I personally have my money in Social Security, over $235,000. In fact, last time I checked my statement, entire 1.5 years was missing. You know, I have to rely on a friend, you know, to help me trace where that 1.5 years gone. You know, we've seen the type of cars these people are driving. Like today, you look at the live videos. You've seen the type of vehicle lining up at that stage. How many of those people are earning like 20,000 per month? So we've seen figures. Figures are there everywhere. What these guys managed to do in, I don't know, 16 months. So this is the Gambia we all fought for. This is the Gambia you fought for Fatu. This is the Gambia you have to run away from.
So Manja, if you were to make a decision, about this social security situation, what would you do? Because a lot of people now are blaming the president. They're like, why is he not speaking out about this? Why is he not taking action?
Today I post on my timeline that for President Barrow, it's time now to govern. Enough is enough. If we cannot govern this country, let him step aside. Because to me, this is a simple decision. We've seen the figures. This is the new Gambia. We want institutional change. And this guy is showing the entire Gambia what system change actually means. You know, it's obvious. And you have people in that department who are resisting to that system change we all fought for. And if this guy failed at Social Security, the same thing is going to continue in Gantel, the same thing is going to continue in GRA. And all these sensitive institutions Gambia is going to rely on if you are going to go ahead. That's why this is an easy decision. We've seen the figures in 16 months. So what are they crying for? They are selfish interests. We don't fight for that. Solo Sunday didn't die for that.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Manjang. We appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kex. Like you said, someone is saying if it is 71% that is against Manjang, they're saying something could be wrong.
Actually, that's what people are saying, definitely. They said if even you see the staff have this courage to even lock the social security, maybe they have an evidence that they feel like this is a strong case that they have in hand. That's why they have the courage to do this, even when the president have assured them that they are going to set a commissioner that will going to look into it. That means that they have a strong case and they believe that they can defend their case. That's why they have the power to do this. So one has to look at the whole matter, definitely, and talk to both sides with open and talk to the people actually, what actually transpired. But if you are hearing one side of the story, you can even make a judgment. I was there, but I was only able to hear from the staff side. I could not hear Manja. I tried to call him and other members of them. But unless we bring all these people together, definitely we will not know the true picture of everything.
Well, thank you. I have the last caller on the line. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Fatu.
Yes.
Yes, this is Banka.
Yes, Banka. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, but not so good at the same time because of these what I'm seeing at Social Security.
What is your take on it?
I mean, yeah, you know, people have a right to protest. There is no, I mean, in fact, we'll continue to defend people's right to protest. This is what we fought for. This is what we always wanted, and we'll make sure we defend that. However, when you go and commandeer a government institution by locking doors and insisting that people can, no one can go in and out, that's a rebellion. That is not a protest. That's a whole different ballgame. So, and personally, for me, and I'm sure I share this with many Gambians out there, this is a very, very disturbing development because the Barrow government, what it should not allow is to accept this kind of behavior to kind of, you know, become so pervasive around the country where people, if they are aggrieved, instead of protesting, they go ahead and take over buildings and institutions and commandeering them basically and make it their own. Look at what's happened at Social Security, Fatu. In 2016, according to the audit numbers, and Uncle Sidisane is even reporting on this on his paper, 2016, this institution lost $26 million. That was the losses on their operating side. In 2017, after Mohammed Manjan took over, the institution made $85 million in profit. Now, tell me, where on the face of this planet will you fire a CEO who comes in and turns an institution around like that? I mean, this is beyond me. So what exactly is, because the grievances that I'm hearing from these folks, or, you know, we are a Muslim country and we're not allowed to have this sugar for this, we are not allowed for this, benefits. You negotiate those benefits at the negotiating table. You don't insist that because you are not having all these perks that the management believes you should not have. And because I feel it's beyond me, where retirement money, people's hard-earned money, is being given to folks to buy, you know, Tobaski ram or sugar for their Tobaski.
But Banka, if you were in Manjang's situation, if you were in Manjang's situation right now, because, you know, some are saying, is it worth the trouble? Like, look at what is happening. The board suspended someone, and then the security chiefs come and they went to Social Security and they said, okay, he's coming to work tomorrow. I mean, if you were in his situation, would you not leave?
No, I will not leave. But what I will do, though, is, and this is very important for Barrow to recognize, and I heard Tukurosi mention this, and I totally agree with her for the first time in my life entirely. And that is this, that, you know, Barrow is the one messing the Social Security situation up. Because Barrow hired this man, Manjang. So when you hire somebody, there are two ways to do this. You can either empower them to do the job that you task them to do, or you can take the powers away from them and basically leave them standing empty-handed so that they could become ineffective. And I think the latter is what Barrow is doing. You don't, when you hire somebody, that means you have the confidence and the belief in the ability of that person, and then you give them the tools that they need to operate with. But you don't put me in a position and then tie my hands behind my back and essentially, you know, leaving me powerless. And this is essentially what they are doing to Manjang at Social Security. They have rendered him powerless. They have undermined him. They have sabotaged his authority. And I mean Barrow government, that is.
See, that's why I was saying, is it worth staying? Because what is happening right now, I mean, it's like the government, they don't even know what to do in this case. They want to satisfy both camps at the same time. But Banka, somebody's watching a Social Security staff and he's like, Banka, I'm sorry, but you're talking gibberish.
Well, that's right. Look, the person is entitled to his own opinion. It's okay. We can look as a country. We can agree to disagree on these issues.
Exactly.
But what I am saying is, if Manjan comes in and he is instituting reforms, now one thing that we all agree with, and I believe even Social Security staff members will not disagree with this. One thing we are all on the same page on is the fact that Social Security has been a disaster all these years. And so what is important now is reforms that are needed to turn that institution around. If somebody comes in with a reform agenda, now some will be happy about that and some won't be happy about that. But in the end, that person who is brought in to make those reforms has to be given the tools to do his job. Otherwise, you might as well tell him, you know what, we don't need you anymore. Let's bring somebody who's just going to dance to everybody's tunes and just basically continue the culture as it is. And this is what I think this where Barrow is failing Social Security. Social Security needs reforms. But this man is making reforms.
Well, thank you, Banker. We're over 1 hour, and the last question that I'm going to put to you is about the Fatoumata Barrow Foundation. We have seen a deposit of $752,000 into their account, and right now the board is saying we really don't know who put this money there. What is your take on that?
Look, that as the last person who called my submission gibberish, I would call that gibberish myself. I think, look, Fatima Pro Foundation needs to come clean and tell us exactly what is going on here. And because, you know, the most troubling part of all this is that, Fatu, there is a pattern now, there is a method to the madness. We are beginning to see a particular behavior from Barrow and his associates that is very, very disturbing for all of us, and that is corrupt practices where literally people will have questions and we are told, oh, it's from an anonymous donor, or we'll investigate, or we'll this. Basically using delaying tactics to do nothing but to avoid answering the questions that the people have. The Barrow Foundation is not just any foundation. If it was a private business, nobody comes here and insists that Tafanjai tell us what his books look like or what money came in and where it came from, because that's his business. We don't have any business in that. But if Father Barrow Foundation is going to act like as a foundation that is representing those poor people in the Gambia and going out and seeking funding on behalf of poor kids and poor people, they owe us an explanation. $757,000 is not chicken change. They better tell us where this money came from, because at the end of the day, they either come out clean or people will investigate and make them come clean. So really, the option is theirs at this point. You are hot on that trail, and others are hot on that trail, and soon they will be surprised to find out that somebody is going to come out with the right answer, and they will be found. I mean, wanting. And I think they should walk away from all that. Let them just do these things right and stop this, because this is corruption at its core, Fatu. This money was not clean. That's why they haven't been able to come out clean.
Well, thank you very much.
And that's very bad.
Thank you very much, Banker. On your stance on Social Security, many agrees with you, but there's a staff of Social Security he's saying, I do not agree. But I guess we understand. He's part of the 79% that say that Manjang should step down. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so we're getting to the end of this program. We've actually been over the hour because we started at 3:30 and now it's 4:40. But I just want to hear your take as a citizen journalist on the $752,000 that was paid into the FAB Foundation accounts.
Actually, Fatu, one must first understand how government runs. Family matters are private matters, and they should be seen as private matters. It doesn't, the Constitution doesn't require any wife of any president, and this should be clear. And this debate was done in the National Assembly during the budget speech, and it was said clearly, definitely, we should not even have the office of the vice president, the office of the first lady at the first place, because it's not the Constitution that even recognized the institution itself. So even creating that one, allocating a budget for him, definitely, it seems that definitely somebody is trying to do something that is against our Constitution, and we all fought for this. We said the former government that was here doesn't have any respect for the Constitution, and we say that we want a change now, whereby we'll have a respect of rule of law, respect of our Constitution, and we'll have an institutional reform, and that has to start from the executive. The president himself should set an example. Any other person below the president will know that definitely the man at the highest authority have set the sample. But if the man at the highest authority is not setting the good sample, then what are you sending to the down people? And this is the problem why let's put the blame since at the inception, the National Assembly members who accept even the president or even have the office of the vice president and a budget being allocated for the first lady and a budget being allocated for that office. And transparent and accountability is the way. When you don't want people to speculate, you have to be transparent and accountable to the people. Anything that is given on behalf of the country or it should be declared and people should know. And this is clear everywhere. But starting from the president, people will give him something. He will say that they are anonymous gifts. So if it happens to the first lady too, why should we complain when the president himself cannot tell us where he is getting donors that people are giving him something on behalf of us? Because when he was just President Barrow, nobody is giving him this. Well, because he is a president of this country, that's why they are giving it. And the constitution is very clear in that section that anything that is given to you when you are a president should be declared to the people. You should tell us this is what I have and it was given to me by this person and based on this. Then there will be no speculation. You will know actually this is the fact. But he is creating the speculation. He is creating the rumors because it's not clear to the people. So for these people, I think they have to come and tell us where the money is, because I can't just believe that somebody will just put, even me, you can't just put me money in my account and I don't know who put it.
Then it was put in the same day and it was
removed the same day. Why will you touch it and if you don't know that definitely who is the source of the money?
Okay.
So definitely.
Well, listening to your analysis, Kex, with all the compliments coming online, they're like, okay, very good. Can I ask you Bara's question? Where were you? Well, well, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate and do stop by again next time. And on behalf of the team right here, the Fatu Network, I would like to thank you all very much for your time and also to thank our sponsors, AfriSol, of course, and also Tough Africa Global. Thank you very much. And APS Money Transfer. Also, we would like to thank you and we're looking for more. If you would like to be part of our sponsors, just contact us. And like I said, Amawale is off this whole week and he'll be back next week, inshallah. Thank you all for your time. We do appreciate it. And from me and the rest of the team, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you.